When was the last time you truly listened to music? With the rise of the streaming business model, you and I are able to watch, listen to, and even play whatever we want, whenever we want. But all that freedom has come at a cost, and I'm willing to bet you haven't even realized it yet. You can no longer connect with your media. We all know what it's like to sit on the couch scrolling through Netflix for an hour, paralyzed by choice. But growing up, back in the days of CDs and DVDs, I never felt that way about media. It was always exciting. It was always exactly what I wanted, which leads me to ask, what exactly is it that we sacrificed in the name of convenience?
So I'm switching back to physical media for 30 days to find out. Most of us already know how important music is to the human psyche. It's kind of intuitive. Researchers have found that listening to music can boost productivity, it can reduce our stress levels, it can improve our sleep as well as our memory, and it can even assist us in correcting dietary habits. But ever since the rise of streaming for music and TV, our relationship with that content has been changing, to say the least. Song lengths have become shorter and shorter as artists are now having to compete and vie for your attention against literally every other song on the platform. Basically, artists no longer have the freedom to just make good music. It also has to be hyper engaging. Furthermore, albums are being produced at significantly lower rates than individual songs for basically the same reason. Clearly, our relationship with content, with media, with music, TV, all that has changed significantly, and I don't pretend to know the effects that that has had on us in a psychological sense, but it is clear that something has changed for the worse. So with all that in mind, the first thing I want to do, I've been looking forward to this for a while, is break out all of my old devices. This is going to be fun. Let's go do this. I've lost track of most of my old music library at this point, but I was surprised by how much of it I actually still have lying around. A handful of CDs, a few banger vinyls, and most of the MP3s I bought over the years. My first ever album on MP3 was Day of Fire on the old Santa Fuse. Good times. My DVD collection is a little more barren though. I bought a few of my all-time favorites over the last few years just for the sake of owning a hard copy, but most of my old discs are still at my parents' house. I'll pick those up later.
In any case, it's time to break out the old auxiliary cord.
Okay, I sat down with this thing, planning to listen to like maybe half of a song for old time's sake, and it's been almost an hour of just sitting, pacing, listening to music. I can barely hear myself talk right now. I may have a problem with volume when I listen to music, but that's the best listening experience I've had in like 10 years. Hands down. I've never been into my music as much as I just was. I'm not even to the physical media yet. This is just my MP3s. I forgot Taylor Swift used to actually be pretty good. I know. It's hard to believe these days. She was pretty good. I already hate my phone. I hate it now. I don't like looking at it. It sucks. But destroying what's left of my faith in the female species isn't the only thing that Taylor Swift has been up to lately. Since 2014, she's been waging a pretty compelling battle against Spotify for overall treatment of creators and just general compensation issues, going so far back in 2014 as to remove all of her music from Spotify until I think 2017. Simply put, streaming might be really convenient for us, but it's terrible for the actual musicians. Things aren't much better for filmmakers, let me tell you. But let's just talk about this from the consumer perspective. It might be more convenient, but can you genuinely say that you have as much of a connection to your music as you used to? I remember back even when I was a kid, if we didn't have a movie on DVD or VHS, and if it wasn't available to rent at the library, then if we wanted to watch that movie, you had to call up one of your friends who had the movie. You know, you gotta call up their house phone, so the mom answers, "Hi, Mrs. Smith, is Johnny there?" And then, you know, they always make it as awkward for you as possible. Good times, man. So if little Johnny got a copy of Shark Boy and Lava Girl for Christmas, suddenly the whole gang is having a sleepover and a movie night to watch the greatest movie to come out of the 2000s. Yes, I own a copy. The same is absolutely true for music as well. I mostly caught the tail end of that phenomenon, but used to be the same way. You know, if you had the record or the CD or the tape of a certain album, but your friends didn't, you went over and you listened to the music together. Isn't it a little ironic that now that we can share links to songs in a second, it's somehow become a much more lonely experience than it's ever been? All right, I'm gonna listen to my tunes again. My tunes. I hate my phone, dude. I officially hate my phone. Okay, so I was just in my car listening to the radio, and a song came on that I never heard before, or that I thought I'd never heard before, until it got to the chorus, and then like 1,000 TikToks are just flashing through my face at the same time. There are so many songs that went completely viral, not on their own merit, but on the merit of the short form video that they were attached to, that don't deserve to be viral. And on the opposite end of that, there are so many songs that are, you know, viral on TikTok as, you know, these viral sounds, but the song itself doesn't really get credit for it. It doesn't stand up on its own because no one's listening to it, but it deserves to be on like everybody's playlist. Perfect example. Let me see if I can find it here. All right, it took me a minute to find that, but listen to this. Okay, this is from Marianne Bailou. If you're on Instagram, you've heard this, but I bet you've never heard the actual song. And then copyright, so I want to pause it. It's phenomenal. It should be on your playlist. I'll put a link in the description. You need to be listening to this, but I know, or at least I'm assuming, that she hasn't really gotten any credit for that being, you know, viral on Instagram. I don't think she, you know, really made any money from that, and it pisses me off. That really actually makes me mad because it's so good. She's so talented, and yet most people, you know, they hear her music, but she doesn't get any credit for it.
But the biggest wake-up call I had is when the playlist that I've been curating for most of my life became nothing more than background noise.
All right, so I'm just sitting at my desk, getting some work done, and as usual, back there I've got a playlist going. I started this playlist when I was, you can't see me, when I was like 11 or 12, and it's got like 300 songs on it. I poured my heart and soul into this playlist, and it kind of shows the progression of my life ever since then. This playlist means a hell of a lot to me, and it's become background noise. I couldn't tell you the last 5 songs that have played on here. I have no idea. I haven't heard them. What the hell?
The point of this experiment is not to deprive myself of music, so I'm still going to be streaming, but I'm replacing 80 to 90% of my streaming with owned media. Keyword, owned. So this absolutely applies to physical media, but also to MP3 files and other digital formats as long as I own it permanently.
Look, see, this is the problem that I'm having. Okay, it's Charlie Brown, Christmas album. Hard to get better than that, right? Look, CD, I will listen to. So I totally want to buy this. Look at that vinyl. It's green. Vinyl's definitely cooler, and for some reason, for Charlie Brown Christmas, it just kind of feels like the right choice to go vinyl. But I don't have the nostalgia for vinyl. It's awesome. I like it a lot. I just don't have any nostalgia with it. So I think if I get the vinyl one at twice the price, I'm not going to listen to it. I'll play it a couple of times. Whereas if I get the CD, it's sitting right next to my Michael Bublé Christmas album CD. Like, it's going to get played if it's the CD. But the vinyl looks so cool.
The only exception to owned media is listening to the radio. After all, I do still want to hear new music.
A few weeks in, and I've never enjoyed my music as much as I have during this experiment. And yet simultaneously, I'm less dependent on music and constant background noise, and far more appreciative of those moments of silence. It's almost as if I'm actually being satisfied by my music instead of simply hearing it all day long. I've been far more present and attentive, watching my favorite movies on DVD, even noticing another list of reasons why the Dragons trilogy is literal perfection. Don't get me started. But most importantly, I know that one of my all-time favorite artists got fairly compensated for her work because of this experiment, and frankly, I forgot just how proud I always used to feel buying an album online. It's pretty great. All right, so the 30-day experiment is over, and I feel great. I feel really, really good. I've had a wonderful month. It's hard to say how much I enjoyed my music was something about, owning it, something about the physical element of it or how much of it was just nostalgia. I'm sure it was a lot of that. I'm sure it was a lot of nostalgia. But in any case, this has been a wonderful experiment. I highly recommend. That said, there's a lot of benefits to streaming. We started doing streaming for a reason. It is so convenient. You can send people links to songs. Yeah, there's a place for everything, and I don't want to cut it out completely because I want to hear new songs. There are songs and genres and playlists that I love listening to from time to time, but not enough to justify buying it. So I'm definitely going to keep streaming around for those reasons. But without question, from now on, my primary way of listening to music and watching movies and TV shows will be physical and owned media. No question about it. It's so much better. So if it's been a while since you've listened to some of your old physical media, do yourself a favor, go out and buy a CD player or whatever it was that you listened to growing up. Might not sound like much, but I think it'll change your life. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more videos from me about self-development, productivity, and whatever this was, you know what to do. A lot of my videos these days are about learning as many Batman skills as I can, so yeah, there's that as well. Do yourself a favor and check out Marianne's music before you go. I'll put a link in the description. It's great. In any case, thank you for watching, and go enjoy some music.